What's going on, everyone? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the debut album from the band Vorum, entitled Poison Void. This is released on Dark Descent Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they're based out of Finland, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very old school, yet very tightly knit style of death metal. Pretty much with a little bit of American death metal influence and some Swedish death metal influence. I'll get to why I say that in just a second, but onto Vorum. These guys have been around since 2006, and they've come out with some really solid material throughout that time span. An EP called Grim Death Awaits, and they did a split with Visalith called Profound Limits of Ruinous Death. The song they had on that split was really, really crushing, as was the Visalith track, but still, Vorum really was impressive to me. And I heard about this band getting signed to Dark Descent and them having a debut album come out in 2013. And I think this is absolutely appropriate for them because Dark Descent really had a banner year in 2012 with a lot of the death metal acts they had on Dark Descent had on the label. Most notably bands like Gorphilia, Corpsest, and the two that I put on my top 20 list last year, Maveth and Desolate Shrine. Coming into this album, I kind of had a little bit of an expectation as to what to expect, but then again, I try not to set myself too high as far as expectations go, because I want to be able to come into a record with an open mind and not be at a single point mindset. I want to be able to enjoy something without, any kind of concern. But anyway, we move on to their debut full-length Poison Void. It's 8 tracks, and it runs around 35 minutes in length. And right away, the way the guitar riffs sound at the beginning of Impetuous Fires, you already know the kind of style and substance that Vorum go for. They go for the jugular, and they deliver some very, very impressive and altogether memorable music. I go back to what I said earlier about this band having some Swedish death metal influence, and what I mean by that is I think to bands like maybe early Entombed or Grave, with the way the riffs and the structuring of the guitar is. I just love the way the riffs are delivered. I mean, they have that crunch and that grit to them. Just the way that they're played and the way that they sound. There's a lot of soul and a lot of crunch within the guitar riffs. The riffs are amazing. I think the solos are amazing too. The way that they are played, it just sounds great. And I go back to the way it sounds, the way the guitar is mixed and the way it sounds on this album. It brings out the best in this band. And you're going to get some really catchy and memorable guitar riffs and solos with this record. And also the bass sounds really good too. It has a nice, good, crisp quality to it. It's not over loud. It backs off when it feels that it needs to, but still it has a good kind of quality and harmony when it comes to the guitar. The bass sounds really good too. The drums sound really, really solid. You're gonna get a good kind of multitude of blast beats, good double bass, really good snare tone, just the way the cymbals are mic'd, just the way some of the patterns are, a lot of the blast beats, and just some really good solid structuring going on with the drums. And I like how on some instances songs will start off really slow. The drum patterns seem to be a little bit slow. You get a small hint of doom influence thrown in there too. But once the song continues to go on, the beats start to get a little faster. And that's where the relentless side of this band comes in. I really enjoy the fact that they switch on and off from being slow and mid-paced to really relentless and fast. I dig the drum style that this band has. It's really cool. And the vocals are just awesome. I really dig the bark and the growl that this vocalist has. Very, very powerful. It doesn't feel forced. It feels like that's how he's really feeling. He delivers that vocal delivery with such intelligence. Very well worded, very well spoken. Just his delivery sounds really good. And Again, back to some of the death metal influence. Of course, I mentioned that this band, in my view, has a little bit of Swedish death metal influence, but you can also pick up some Morbid Angel vibes, some Asphyx vibes, and even to some of the true Finnish death metal like Convulse and Demigod. Those bands are some bands that I happen to pick up listening to this album, Poison Void, and I think it's really, really impressive. So as far as this album is concerned, I think this is a really awesome start to Finnish death metal in 2013. I mean, there is still a lot of great stuff coming up. I know there's a new EP from Convulse coming out. Also, there's going to be an album from a band called Crypts, which is also on Dark Descent. I'm looking forward to hearing that as well. So, yeah, if you're a fan of Finnish death metal and you want to hear a little bit of some differing death metal influences, Vorum is definitely the band for you to check out. I highly encourage this band to you if you are into any of the bands that I mentioned, like Grave or Entombed or early Morbid Angel, early Asphyx, Convulse, Demigod. You'll enjoy Vorum a lot. I think you'll enjoy them at least. If I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say the opening track, Impetuous Fires. I really dug that track. Rabid Blood, Thriving Darkness. I really enjoy the song structuring on there. And Dance of Heresy, and the closing track, Poison Void. It's the longest song on there. It's about 7 minutes, but it holds your attention. It's really, really cool. So, again, the album is Poison Void by Vorum. This is released on Dark Descent Records. Go check this out, and I'm going to give this a very strong 8 out of 10. Really, really awesome debut, and I'm looking forward to seeing this band progress. They are really awesome. So support Vorum. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks all for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, Army Hell out.